Good morning. It's overcast today, but it is nice and warm. Wind pretty much blew all night, so they could have went, I guess, most of the evening, but we didn't have the auger set up and everything else like that, so they shut down, and we are going to get ready to get at her today. We're on our last field of canola. Looks like it's going to run pretty good, so I'm going to set up the auger in the big bin because that should hold it all. That's a 12,000 bushel bin, and if we get more than 12,000 bushels off the 100 and I'm not exactly sure how much it is, 160, 180 acres. Boy, that would be something else, but I really doubt it's going to happen. All right, so Emmy and I are going to grab the last body job truck. We're going to try to keep up with just the body jobs. My wife said it's still testing 8 or 9%, so that's good. We're just going to throw that right in our big bin if it is. So we're going to run this one out here right now. Bring the tandem back. I'm going to sample it, and if it's good, we're going to take it up, unload it. We set up in a 12,000 bushel bin. If this crop runs as good as everybody's telling us it's going to run, we will fill that bin. The Blums are not canola growers, so we're a little skeptical.
Dad,
what?
puppies are coming into my shoe.
Okay, take your shoe off. Got a pokey situation here. So we are a little skeptical about tremendous yields, but we will see. Okay, so we're out here now. They are flying at it. They can only make a round, which is perfect. It would be better if they couldn't even make a round, but we'll take what we can get on a year like this. So I got here cookie sheet. It's what we use to determine if the combine is throwing any canola over. There's all sorts of things you see at ag shows and whatever else, fancy, essentially cookie sheets that are, you know, certain measurements and certain depths and certain. It's all silly because this is just fine. So what I'm going to do, because just to walk behind the combine on a big canola swath like this doesn't actually make much sense, because you have a bunch of losses right at the header. Like, the canola is quite fragile right now. It's been swathed for over a month. So if you just touch it and rattle it, like even a strong wind and stuff will start to shell this out. So you can imagine running into it with, you know, the combine pickups, as you'll see when my mom drives by. It's quite an aggressive motion that shakes the swath. So you're going to have losses right there. So just walking right behind the combine doesn't actually... I mean, you can tell, right? If there's black seeds all over, you could definitely got a problem. But and if they're outside of the width of the pickups, you got a problem. But you can mostly it's the visual thing off the start. You can tell that you're going to need some adjustments. Once you get the adjustments close enough, then that's when you, if you want to do any fine tuning, some people don't, some people do. Then you're going to need something to catch an actual sample of what's coming out the back of the combine. In order to do that, when Mom drives by, I'm going to toss this cookie sheet under the combine, so as she drives over it, I'll be able to get a good representation of what's coming out of the combine. And then, I doubt you'll ever get it to zero. I know one of my neighbors is like, oh yeah, no, we get ours to zero. And I was like, well, give me a break. But maybe you can. I don't know. We're not going to spend all day horsing around. It is supposed to rain tomorrow, so I mean, we can leave a bushel an acre for the birds. The crazy thing about a bushel an acre, if you have a 160 acre field, that's 160 bushels. If canola's $10, which right now it's like $11.30, but at $10 that's $1,600. So every bushel you leave is basically a minimum $1,600. So if you leave 10 bushels an acre behind, first of all, you're just probably need to get out of the business of farming and go do something else, because 10 bushels an acre, you can see, like, with your eyes. You probably could see it coming out the back of the combine. So, but yeah, if you were to be that irresponsible and thrash out 10 bushels an acre onto the ground on a 160 acre field, you would That's big bucks, right? It'll be 16,000 bucks. So the most important trick with the cookie sheet test is don't get run over. If you get run over, you should probably get out of the farming business because you're obviously not safe. So I'm gonna come over here now just out of the wind. The wind's blowing a little bit, and we're gonna sift through this and we're gonna see what we got here. Keep in mind, Mother is picking up a 35-foot swath. So this is what come out. So there is one right there, and there's one right there. Now you can imagine with the separating area, our combines aren't really big combines. So with the separating area she's got, and all of this chaff going through, you're never going to stop at the fact that, you know, this is where the canola seed lived, right? Half this pod. So if it's stuck in there and it doesn't get rattled out, it will shell out once it goes through the chopper or once it goes through that spreader. So she's got a couple here for sure. 1, 2. At this point, I don't even think that's enough to really worry about. So that's Mother's losses on a 35-foot swath with you know, with a whole bunch to thrash. So I don't know, is that good or not? There's a few seeds in there. We probably won't make any more adjustments unless the sun comes out. That sometimes changes things too. All that white stuff there is shelled out now. That's how fragile this is just with stepping on it, you know? If you were to put this pan under here and just shake it. One thing she might be able to do to allow a little bit more time for the cleaning area to do its job is she can just slow down. You know, 0.2, 0.3 miles an hour is often enough. Because as I said, our combines are not big machines. There's quite a few sizes already bigger than what we have. So basically the swather we bought with 35-foot header is kind of built for the bigger machines. But when we bought it, we very rarely raise a really good crop of canola like this. We have a couple of years since we bought that swather raised a good one. So the swather basically is too big for the combine. So when you're thrashing this big of a swath, once you get the combine set basically as good as you can, then the rest you can do by speed and other things like that. But at this point, I'm really happy with what I saw out of hers. I'm just walking down the field to my wife's combine and gonna see how hers is thrashing. More in there, right? She's got much more than Mother has.
That is crazy!
So this is another thing that like our combines weren't made for these big swaths. These windscreens, they're supposed to keep the swath from bouncing up and going too high, but these canola swaths are so big that they don't even fit through there, and these are set to the highest they can go. So the last couple of years we just took them off, and that works better. So I'm gonna take it off here now. There getting things done. We think we got the combines dialed in as good as we can for sure. It seems to be yielding probably 50-55. So pretty windy and nice and warm. Excellent harvest weather. This is our last field. They got 50 acres left. They've got all that done. It's been yielding very well. Definitely much deserved after this fall. Everything has been yielding below average. Everything's been tough. The only thing that's been decent about this fall has been the weather. So we are very thankful for this last field. Definitely gonna go a long ways in salvaging some of the more marginal yields we've seen throughout the year. As long as the price holds, we should be all right. So I got the fleet lined up here behind me. The wind is blowing so hard where they're combining. I had to move it back behind these trees because the combines are quite tall for like single axles and body jobs. So the auger from the combine is way up here, you know. And when they start augering the canola, it actually is a small target to hit. Those combines unload so fast and they create such a big spread when they're unloading that the wind just actually blows the grain right out of the truck. So the baler man, he was down here baling. He said there's 3 grizzly bears down here. So I'm going to hightail it out of here before I end up grizzly bear food, because I don't feel like fighting off a grizzly bear today. What am I looking at here? So there's mother. Corey's just over there. They've only got to go to these trees, so they're almost done. I think that's going to be it for filming today. As soon as they get done and we get the trucks unloaded, combine's back in the yard, and things buttoned up for the night. We are supposed to get rain this week, maybe even as early as tomorrow afternoon. Then we're probably going to stop. If the wind goes down, we'll probably have a fire, have a couple drinks, cook up some steaks, celebrate Harvest 2020 being done. It was a long harvest. It was pretty much a disappointment from the start. We're ending on a little bit of a high note. This didn't even run as good as we thought we were going to get. I'd say between 50-55. Really good on our farm. A lot of people thought it would do better. I'm sure some people thought it wouldn't even do 50. But so to all of you who watched the whole harvest with us, thank you for that. Thank you for tuning in every day, every other day whenever we uploaded videos. If there's any new people watching this one, thank you for tuning in. We got lots to do this fall. We got tillage, we got fertilizer to put down, we got some fall chemical application to do. We got maintenance to do on these machines. We got washing to do. We got to get them all stacked into the shed down there. So there's going to be lots more videos coming out. If you want to stay up to date on that, subscribe to the channel, and have a good evening.